634444.
As you board the train, you're greeted by rich European decor, mahogany, a brass rail, soft lighting. You look out at the panoramic view of the lovely countryside as the train gently pulls from the station. You cross through the intimate parlor with its plush high-back chairs before you climb the stairs to the domed second level. Champagne is served by a tuxedoed table captain as you begin on your 80-mile round-trip journey. The anticipation of intrigue and romance are in the air as you're served an exquisite 5-course meal. Sounds great, doesn't it? Well, if you're thinking that traveling and dining in pure luxury died out with the Orient Express, think again. Join me for Menus Around Milwaukee.
Menus Around Milwaukee is sponsored by Star 95, Milwaukee's favorite oldies.
Finally, an FM station with Milwaukee's favorite oldies in stereo. 95.7 FM, Star 95.
Good morning and welcome to Menus Around Milwaukee, where each week we'll be getting a behind-the-scenes look at Milwaukee's finest restaurants and master chefs. I'm Boni Montgomery. Today we're joining you from Scenic Rail Dining, located at 113th and Brown Deer Road. Scenic Rail offers you a dining experience which is totally unique. In fact, this is the only restaurant of its kind in Milwaukee and one of the few of its kind in the country. An evening on Scenic Rail Dining consists of an 80-mile round-trip excursion through the beautiful Wisconsin countryside, a 5-course meal served by a tuxedoed table captain, and the most exquisite ambiance to be found. Let's meet Scenic Rail's general manager, Renee Sherbarth. We're now in the club car, and Renee, this is really fun being in here. Tell me a little bit about the history.
Sure. Diane and Bill Gardner, owner of Scenic Rail Dining, started their dream about 3 years ago. Diane was in the restaurant business, and Bill, owner of Northern Railcar Corporation in Cudahy, refurbishes trains. So what they did was they put their minds together. They went around the country to view other dinner trains, came back to Milwaukee, and decided what they needed was something very unique. So they went back around the country again, and they had to look for Dome Union Pacific cars, which all of these are. The Dome is something where the customer can view a long distance, and it really is nice.
So this the train moves.
Yes,
we get
it does.
to dine with the moving train. And where does it go?
We go up to Horicon. We go through about 7 different towns, from Richfield to Germantown, Horicon, Hartford is in there, Iron Ridge, and then we come back.
Okay, so that's about 80 miles.
Yes.
How long does it take?
It takes 4 hours round trip.
Tell me about the decor, because it's just got such a great feeling to being in here.
Yes, it does. Diane Gardner did all of the interior design. Took a lot of trips down to Chicago, where they have the Mart down there, to put together the wall coverings and the upholstery, the carpeting, the chairs, the mahogany wood, to put it all together and to come up with an Art Deco, Art Nouveau interior.
It has such a rich feeling to it, too.
It really does.
What's the year of the cars that have been refurbished?
All the cars are from 1950s.
Great. Okay, now, you've convinced me I want to come on this train. What do I do now? How do I go about getting reservations and everything?
To make a reservation is very easy. You can call over the phone, and you can make a reservation with American Express, Visa, or MasterCard, or you can walk into the depot with cash, credit card, or a check, guarantee your reservation and your date, and you're all set.
All right. What's the number for reservation?
The number is 354-5544.
Okay. Now, I come on and I'm served my meal. What kind of a meal do I get?
You get a 5-course elegant meal. This year, for our 1990 season, we have expanded the menu choices, where you get a choice of soup, salad, entree, and dessert, where it was a little bit different last year. So now the customer has got more of a variety of what we do.
And the menus do change?
The menus change monthly.
Oh, great. So we can come 1 month and then another month and have a complete, and we'll see the change of the seasons, too.
Definitely.
That's always fun.
Yes.
Okay, well, tell us about the chef.
The chef. Our chef, Pat Morgan, is from the Culinary Institute of America in New York. And the only words I can say about him is what Dennis Ghetto said. And that was, it's the best meal he's had in 7 years.
Boy, that's great. And we get to be on the train while we're having this wonderful meal.
Yes, you do.
Now, I have a question. Since we are in the bar car, when we come in, do we have a specific table that we're supposed to sit at? And then we can come into the bar car? How does all that work?
When you arrive at the station, a porter will help you board the train. And he will ask you whether you want to go to River's Edge, which is the club car, and have a cocktail, or you can go to your dining table right away and have your hors d'oeuvre and cocktails there. It's basically up to the customer what they would like to do.
And how far in advance from the train taking off can we board the train?
That depends on the day.
Okay.
When we do an evening excursion or a Sunday afternoon excursion, you can board prior an hour and a half. But during the day or week afternoon excursions is only a half hour.
Okay. Tell me now, during the week when the train goes, because I wasn't aware that the train took off during the day.
It depends on the time of year.
Okay.
Basically, during the summer, Tuesday and Thursdays are afternoon excursions, and they depart at noon and arrive back to the station at 4.
Oh.
On Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, they depart at 6:30 in the evening and arrive back at 10:30. And on Sundays, it's always an afternoon, and it departs at 1 and comes back at 5.
If I had, let's say, wedding, I wanted my reception on the train, or a business meeting or something like that, can a person rent out the train?
Oh, yes, definitely.
Okay.
You can have a reservation from 1 up into 160 people.
Oh, great. Well, thanks for telling us all of this, giving us all the info, Renee. And next, coming up on Menus Around Milwaukee, we're going to meet Chef Patrick. Welcome back to Menus Around Milwaukee. I'd like to introduce you to Chef Patrick Morgan, and obviously we're in the kitchens at Scenic Rail Dining. Patrick, what are we doing today?
Well, we're going to start off with roast rack of lamb, and we're also going to make salmon and croup.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay.
I'm going to move out of your way
All right.
here.
Well, first of all, we have a hotel rack of lamb here that we're going to season up.
A hotel rack of lamb. What is that?
It's the best cut that you could have as far as quality.
Oh.
And we go with salt and pepper. We're going to rub some fresh garlic on the top. Some leaf thyme. And some leaf rosemary. And you always want to season all sides of the meat. You just don't want to season the top. You want to season just in the top, bottom, and then go around the plate and get the sides. So we're going to go ahead and sear this off. We're going to sear it off in some olive oil. Well, that means, see, that pan's nice, smoking hot. And we're going to get it as brown as we can, as fast as we can, to seal in the juices.
Why olive oil and not butter?
Olive oil has a higher smoking point than butter does. Butter's going to burn.
Oh.
And olive oil gives it a little bit different flavor than, say, salad oil or something like that. As you can see, careful, Bonnie, we don't want to splash you
I'm
here.
out of here.
But as you can see, that's a nice hot pan, and see how nice and brown it is on that top side. And you always want to brown the top side first, and then go to the bottom, and then hit the sides.
Why is that?
Well, it's just going to look nicer once it's done. It goes a little bit faster that way. As you can see, that pan is really smoking, and that's what you want.
So would you use the olive oil for certain meats and not other meats?
Sure. I mean, olive oil's used a lot in lamb, game birds, things like that.
Is it tricky cooking on a train, a moving train?
Yes, very, very much so. It can be difficult at times. You get used to the motion, though. You know, at first we had a few spills and things like that, but as you can see, everything's bolted down. You have racks on the shelves to keep things from falling off. But every once in a while, you'll catch a big bump, and that'll be it. Okay, that's all it's to it. We're going to take that out of the pan, put that on a rack. We'll get this out of the way here. Okay, so now what we're set to do is we have a mustard spread here that we made up ahead of time. It's made with coarse grain mustard, Dijon mustard, olive oil, garlic, shallots, oregano, and parsley. And what we're going to do is we're going to spread that all over the lamb, and then we're going to dip it in some breadcrumbs, and then all we have to do is bake it. It's a little bit easier if you work with this if it was cool, but we don't really have time for that right now, so we're just going to go ahead and...
Oh, so if we were doing something like this at home, we could wait.
Yeah, you could wait, maybe get your veggies prepared up,
all right,
things like that. But we want to spread the mustard on here good. This is what gives it nice flavor. It gives it a different taste. This is the traditional roast rack of lamb. If you go to a fine restaurant, this is the way that they're going to prepare it.
okay.
As you can see, we're not wasting any here. We're just going to load it up pretty good.
I'm anxious to see what this is going to look like when it's finished.
We're going to dip it in some breadcrumb, just like this. Put it on both sides. And we're going to put it back on the rack. Sprinkle a little bit on top. This is going to make it be nice and crispy on the outside.
And the rack, that's important too for the crispiness and...
Well, the rack is just a primal cut that's going to be nice and tender for you. You're not going to have a problem with it. It's not like a leg of lamb, which is roasted slow, cut really thin for tenderness. This is supposed to be served medium rare and will be served medium rare, but even if you went medium well done, it's still going to be nice and tender for you compared to like a leg of lamb. So really, that's about all we have to do for the roast rack of lamb. It's that simple. We're going to go ahead and throw it in the oven right now. And that's roughly going to take about 15 minutes, and it should be all set and ready.
All right, and our next thing.
Okay, now we're going to go ahead and start with the salmon and croute with a flounder mousse, lobster, and spinach. Okay? So we're going to get our puff dough down here. Our puff pastry dough we're going to lay right there. We already have it on a floured hotel pan, so it's all set, ready to go for us. And we're going to go ahead and take our fillet of salmon that we get in whole. We fillet them ourselves, we bone it, we skin it. It's nice and fresh.
It's a beautiful piece of fish.
Beautiful piece of fish. And then we're going to get our lobster tails here ready. So this size portion is what we use because it's easier for us to make it in servings of 8, which you could do at home also, which is kind of nice because it's just one unit here. It's one fillet.
All right.
So what we're going to do is we're going to cut the tail about there. And go ahead and cut the belly meat off a little bit. Okay. We're going to go ahead and lay this on your puff dough. We're going to season the fillets with salt, a little pepper. It's always important. That's the one spice that people always forget to do is salt and pepper. You don't have to use a lot, but don't forget it. Okay, what we're going to do is we made a flounder mousse up ahead of time. It's fresh flounder that we puree, we grind first, and then we put it in a food processor. It's made with egg whites and heavy cream, seasoned with salt, white pepper, just a dash of nutmeg. That's when people think of mousses, they think, oh, that's so gourmet and that's so hard to make. It's really not. It's really simple. The rule of thumb is 1 pound of product to 2 egg whites to 1 cup of heavy cream, and then just salt and pepper. And you can make a mousse out of anything. You can make a mousse out of seafood, out of veal, out of vegetables, whatever you want to do. So we're going to spread the mousse on top like that. We're going to go ahead and lay the spinach on it. We sauteed up ahead of time in garlic butter and seasoned it up with salt and pepper again. As you can see, it's cold because you don't want this to be hot when you put it on. You want it to be cold with the rest of the product. Okay, we're
Spinach is one of my favorites, so I'm glad to see you putting that on there.
Well, we gotta make it a little bit healthy here. I mean, nowadays with everybody, but this has got a lot of heavy cream in it. This dish does.
That sounds good too.
With the sauce and gives you good flavor.
One of my favorites, heavy cream.
Okay, so what we're going to do now is prepare our lobster tails. We're going to shell them. Cut them down the middle. These are 8-ounce tails that you can get anywhere. I'm going to take them out of the shell. And the important thing with the lobster is to butterfly it again so that it cooks evenly with the salmon and the moose, because this is such there's so much salmon and a lot of the moose in there that it's not going to bake evenly, and you could end up having the salmon cooked and then the lobster being a little raw. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a little cut here in the fillets just to butterfly it out a little bit more, so it's going to cook a little bit evenly.
Well, we're running out of time here a bit. Can you tell us basically what comes next after we're through all this?
After this, we're going to put the fillets on top.
All right.
Which we're going to do right now, the belly fat, or not the belly fat, excuse me, the belly portion of the salmon. You cut the tail in half so you can utilize one fillet for the whole dish. We're going to season the top again with salt, pepper. Now we're going to egg wash the sides and put the dough on top.
This is great. This reminds me of somebody at home building one of these great big hoagie sandwiches, just piling one great thing on top of the other.
I think it's a real simple dish that a lot of restaurants don't serve because everyone thinks it's so fancy. And
well,
it takes
it looks fancy too, and that's what's fun about it, going out and then you get a nice fancy dish.
Yeah, have something
like this.
different that you never tried before.
Yeah.
It's a very nice dish. It's popular here. Chef Dale does an excellent job at it. He's the expert on this dish. He's the one that thought of it.
Oh, he did? Okay.
Sure. We work together at the menu, so it makes it fun for all of us.
Just kind of come up with your own masterpieces.
Clip the edges here, make it tight so there's no air inside. Try to uniform it out so it's nice and big. We're going to cut the excess dough off. And then roll it up.
Kind of like a pie on the edges then, huh?
Exactly.
All right.
And this is going to make it tight so that the seafood can bake evenly. And then all you have to do is egg wash the top. We use straight egg yolks with just a little bit of water. That's all set. We'll egg wash the top. And you bake it at about 425 degrees for roughly 45 minutes. The internal temperature, if you have a pocket thermometer, should be about 150, 160. You always got to remember that with the puff dough, the product continues to cook in here because it can get really hot inside once it starts. That's the finished product.
Great.
That goes in the oven. And then what we'll do here is we'll pull the one out that we started earlier.
Okay, voila. I've been waiting to see this. I can smell it.
And then here it is.
Beautiful. What's that called again?
That's filet of salmon with a flounder mousse, lobsters and spinach, and croup. And it's going to be served with champagne sauce.
Thanks, Chef Patrick. We'll be back with some finished dishes coming up next. And now on Menus Around Milwaukee, Patrick is back with us, and this is Chef Dale Curley. Guys, compliments to both of you. This food looks wonderful. Tell us about it.
Thank you. As part of your ticket price, we start off everyone with an appetizer, and this month's appetizer is a puff pastry dough that's filled with prosciutto, provolone cheese, artichokes, and then served with glazed mushrooms. After the appetizer course, you get a choice of cream of chicken soup with saffron and almonds, and then a choice of a fresh vegetable soup. After that, we go into the salad, and we have choice of salads here.
Yeah, the salads, we have a gourmet salad this month, which has artichoke hearts, hearts of palm, black olive, peppercini, and a tomato wedge, and also has some colored peppers, a radicchio and bib lettuce, and an edible flower on there, and that's served with a saffron Italian vinaigrette. We also have our house salad, which we serve all the time, which has bib lettuce, red leaf lettuce. It has cucumber, tomato, black olive, and peppercini also. And that's served with a Thousand Island dressing this month.
After the salad, then we have a choice of 4 entrees. All the entrees are accompanied with the same stir-fried vegetables and cheese tortelloni.
And the salmon, you can see the salmon is the one that Patrick made, salmon and croûte. We also have the rack of lamb, which he did. And we have the filet mignon, which is served with, topped with a maitre d' hotel butter, an onion ring, and a béarnaise sauce. And we have the veal, which is topped with crab meat and white asparagus, and also béarnaise. And then we go to desserts, which are baked fresh daily in our depot. Keith Schlee is our head baker. He does a great job for us. And my wife also, I have to get her name in there, Debbie. She does the things for us. And we have a rye bread. We have a poppy seed lemon muffin. We have fresh baked croissants. And we also have an apple muffin, which is just some of the things that they serve on the train. And then we also have 2 desserts, which we serve this month. One is a praline pate, which is chocolate and ground up almonds with a frangelico liqueur, which is hazelnut flavored, and that's served with a vanilla sauce, which is excellent. And the other one we have is a lemon tort, which is lemon with kind of a lemon meringue inside, which is also very good. And that's served with a raspberry sauce.
Wonderful variety. Once again, the trip is how far?
The trip is 80 miles and it lasts 4 hours.
All right. And for reservations, where do we call?
354-5544.
Great. It's been wonderful spending the morning cooking all of this with you guys. We're going to dig in. Why don't you take a look at some other fine restaurants around Milwaukee? With that, we're out of time for this week's show. Thanks to everyone here at Scenic Rail Dining. I don't know whether to say bon appetit or bon voyage. I guess I can say both of them. Join us next time. We'll be coming to you from the Red Circle Inn. I'm Boni Montgomery. See you next week on Menus Around Milwaukee.
Menus Around Milwaukee is made possible by these fine restaurants: the Charter House Inn, the Columns, La Par at Silver Spring Country Club, Mater's, Red Circle Inn, and Scenic Rail Dining. All our Menus Around Milwaukee businesses appreciate